I'm losing for so many stuff, but at the same time I have the best ace. I have the best ace. The best. Ace King in a board like that for this price. I don't even need to be right that often for this call to be profitable. That's a pretty easy call, right? But look closely to this guy. Will he really be bluffing here in a 1-2 game? Well, call. Call. I'm all in. What's up, everybody? Today we're gonna go play more than 22 hours at my first meetup game in Chicago. And this session is gonna happen in the same place where I started vlogging roughly 2 years ago, Windy City Poker Championship. They are a charitable poker with a great environment. They also have a great one too with a $500 max. They have tournaments as well. I'm gonna leave their Facebook page in the description of this video and you can talk to Kirk on any doubt you might have. And over this 22-hour session divided by 2 days, I have a mission on giving you some solid tips over how to beat low stakes, low limit hold'em cash games. Which brings me to the announcement that I just relaunched an improved version of my ebook, The Profitable Poker Player, 6 Principles for Success in Poker, which is available now for free, I don't know for how long. So if you want to improve your results at poker and make more money in the game, I highly recommend you that when you finish this video, you click the link in the description, download and read my ebook, that I'm sure that if you read and apply the principles that I teach in this book, you will not only make more profits in the game, but you'll also find ways to improve way faster than the average. This is how the room was looking like when I arrived. A lot of people came this day to support my meetup game, which was a very nice surprise. The game is on fire here at Windy City. Reviewing everybody from a long time ago. And my table is that one right there. We already started. We're going to be playing here until 2 a.m. and tomorrow as well. So if you guys want to join, feel free to come and see you here. And the first hand in this meetup game is already a very interesting one. I see pocket queens on the small blind. 3 limpers, as this game always has a lot of limpers, which opens a lot of space for me to raise and beat the aggressor with many hands. But in this case, I got the top of my range and I raised to $15 out of position. Only cut off calls, and we go heads up to a flop that comes Jack 10-3 with 2 spades. I have the queen of spades. That's a great flop for us. I'm losing to very few combinations of hands. I c-bet to 20 and cutoff makes a min raise for $40. And now we already got a decision. Will we call or we will re-raise? Effective stack is 485, so we're playing pretty deep. And I believe that from all the hands that he limp calls from the cutoff, I'm losing basically to Jack 10 and pocket 3s. All the other hands I'm either very much ahead or at least I'm a favorite. And because I believe he has much more hands in his range that I'm ahead than hands that are beating me, 135 coming back, I decided to re-raise to 135. He tanks for like a minute and in the end decides to call. The turn is an 8 of clubs. Now queen 9 gets there. Also some less likely combinations of 2 pair like Jack 8. I got 350 left in my stack, so SPR is little more than 1. I could either decide to check or to bet here, but after thinking for a while, I decided to shove all in. And he thinks for a long time and in the end decides to call. And I have queens, maybe I'm behind. And he had exactly one of the few combos that was actually winning us in the flop. Jack 10 offsuit. River doesn't help and we start this session losing $500 in the first hand. Next hand I see pocket 3s on the button. 3 limpers. Cutoff raises to 15. I decided to call and see a flop. Other 3 players call and 5 players see a flop of queen 10-3 rainbow. We got bottom sets. Hijack bets $20, a quarter of the pot. Cutoff calls. And now we got a decision between calling or raising. And I rather raising, especially with this hand that I'm not blocking none of the hands that will call me, like queen, like a 10, like 2 pair, like open-ender with a king jack or jack 9. So I raised to $70. They all fold and we didn't extract it as much value as we wanted. We're losing around $350 so far and we get this king queen offsuit from the big blind. Woman in the under the gun raises to 15. I felt strained on her, both because she raised more than she usually raises, like 10, 11, and now she raised 15. Also because she's in early position. Everybody folds to me, and even though I'm not in love with this situation, I'm gonna call and see a flop. Flop comes Queen 9-3 Rainbow. We got top pair with a decent kicker. She c-bets 25. I'm still feeling like she's strong, so I'm not gonna raise. I'm gonna call and see a turn. Turn is a 9. I don't see her having so many 9s in her range, so most likely this card didn't help her. Now she bets $40 and I call again. River is an ace, a terrible card. Now I'm losing to close to all combinations in her range.
50?
I feel like I'm losing the whole way. Am I losing the whole way? She bets $50. I fold, and in the end she shows ace queen offsuit, so she was beating me the whole way, and this ace helped me get out of it. What?
I'll be okay if I'm in the flop.
Alright,
You'll be
alright.
You're right in the shot.
Now your faces are in. The vibe in this place is great, and next hand I get king queen offsuit again on the middle position. It folds to me and I open raise to 10. Big blind and small blind call. We go through ace to the flop, which comes a great one both for my range and for my hand. Ace king queen with 2 spades. Very nice lady and supporter of the vlog leads $20. Big blind calls. There's no way I'm calling here. There are many cards that I won't like to see in the turn, like a spade, like an ace, like a jack, like a 10. So I decide to re-raise to $55. Only lady in the small blind calls and the big blind folds. I'm gonna give a proposal. I don't want to try to make money on you. I can go check until the river.
Okay.
But yeah, that's fine for you? Okay.
An agreement.
Yeah. I tried to be nice and we agreed to stop betting. I don't recommend you to do the same, but I was in my meetup game and I felt like I should be nice to her, and I'm glad that I did that, and in the end we win this hand. Next hand I see pocket jacks on the big blind, 3 limpers. I'm gonna raise, and I usually make it twice the size of the pot, which would be 16, but I felt like they would call if I bet bigger. I decided to raise $17, which is $1 more than I would usually do. If you want to have the biggest win rate you can at low stakes, you need to be thoughtful about your sizings, and every $5, $10, $20 in your win rate matters. Under the gun and cutoff call, we go 3 ways to the flop, which I make top set. I see bet $20, only under the gun calls. We go heads up to the turn, which comes a blank, a 4 of diamonds. Effective stack is like $400, and I'm gonna bet an amount that I can bet big in the river. So I decide to bet $75, little more than 3/4 of the pot. She thinks for a long time and then decides to fold. She asks to see the river and says she had 9-10 and she would get there in the river. So even though I'm trying not to be result oriented, in case she called, I would probably lose a lot of money to her, maybe all of it, and gladly she folded. Next hand I see ace queen offsuit from the hijack. Low jack raises to 12. I'm definitely gonna 3-bet here. It will be rare the times that I'm gonna flat call in this particular spot. So I 3-bet to $40 and he calls. We go heads up to a flop that comes ace high. Great flop for us. He checks to me and I see bet $30. Weirdly, he check raises to $90 now. He has $83 left in his stack, so I could either shove or call. There's no way I'm folding with this hand. So I decided to take advantage of my position and just call and see a turn in position. Turn is a jack. Now I'm losing to ace jack as well. He goes all in and I snap call. He shows ace king, so he was beating me the whole way and we lose this hand. No escape for us. Wow. I changed seats to go to a better position. One thing that really makes a difference in your win rate is which seat are you seated, because depending on where you sit, you can take more advantage of the players in your right and exploit them so you make more money. Another thing you should watch out for is how big is the rake. There are many 1-2 and 1-3 games in the US where the rake is 10% with a $5 cap. So if the pot has $50, they will take $5. But if the pot has $500, they will take the same $5. So there are definitely ways for you to beat that rake and make a substantial win rate like I made 3 years ago when I played 1500 hours at the Horseshoe Casino. That game was a 1-2 with a 200 max buy-in, and over 1500 hours I made more than 16 big blinds an hour. So those games are still beatable. But to have a big win rate in a game like this, you need to be good at exploiting those people's weaknesses. Next hand I see the first pocket aces of the night from the low jack. Under the gun straddles to 5. I open raise to 15. Only button calls. Button is a great friend of mine and we go heads up to a flop that comes 10-8-7 rainbow. This flop is not the best for my range, so I decide to check at least this one street and disguise the strength of my hand. He checks back and the turn comes a king of clubs. Now I'm gonna bet for value. I bet $20 and he calls. River pairs the board. Most likely I'm winning here, and I decided to trap him and check. Maybe he decides to bet and then I check raise. He thinks for a while and does exactly what we wanted him to do. He bets $40 and now we're gonna check raise. The question is how much. I decide to make it 145 total. He agonizes a little bit and then decides to call. I show the bad news. He shows a king and we win this hand. Now we're losing little less than $200 and I see this queen 10 suited from the cutoff. Early position raises to 10. I decide to 3-bet to 30. Many times I will either 3-bet or fold and this time is one of those. So I decided to 3-bet and 2 players call and we go 3 ways to a flop that comes ace, jack, deuce with 2 spades. I'm huge here. I got a gut shot and a queen high flush draw. They check to me and I see bet $50. First player folds, but early position goes all in for $250 and I snap call. He
Call.
It's a race. It's a race. Let's show it to be fun.
has ace deuce for 2 pair. That's pretty close to a flip, but he's still ahead. We agreed to run it once.
No, it's not a flip. You're ahead.
And we already get there in the turn. No deuce or ace in the river and we win this one. And after like 12 hours into the session, we finally get back to even. But this session is not over yet because at 2 AM we get a bomb pot in which the flop comes ace 5-4 and 8-4 king with 2 spades. And we see our hand and we have the nuts in the upper board, 2-3, and we have just a pair in the lower board. I bet pot for $50 and only player in my left calls. We go heads up to the turn, which I still have the nuts in the upper board and now in the lower board I got 2 pair. I bet pot again for $150 and he quickly goes all in. There's no way I'm folding here, so I call. He has 2-3 in the upper board as well, but I'm ahead in the lower board with 2 pair. In the end we hold and we scoop 3/4 of this pot because we won one of the boards and we chopped the other board. So in the end of this first day we win $305 in 12 hours of game, profiting like 25 per hour. But there is still one more day left. Windy City just has one of the best fields in terms of gentle, kind people around. I've met many great people in the years I played there. A lot of great people in this day as well. First hand I see king queen offsuit from the low jack. Player in the early position raises to $10 and I 3-bet to 35. He quickly 4-bets really small to 75 and I felt a lot of strength on him. And because I don't have such a good hand and a hand that is very much dominated for many great hands he has in his range like ace king, ace queen, aces, kings, queens, I decided to fold and later on he said he had kings.
I want to fold this. And then you show queen jack and I look bad.
I change to a better seat. In the first hand in this seat, I see pocket aces on the big blind. Button raises to 10 and small blind calls. I'm definitely gonna 3-bet here. And I make it 40 to go. Usually I'm gonna make it bigger, but because I have aces, I'm gonna make a more invitable sizing for them to call. Only small blind calls. And we go heads up to a flop that comes 7-7-4 with 2 spades. And I have the ace of spades. The chance I'm losing here is very small. Small blind checks to me. And I see bet $31 for 1/3 of the pot. He quickly calls and the turn comes a 10 of diamonds. He checks to me again and now there are 2 flush draws in the board and I don't want to give a nice price for flush draws to call. So now I bet 125, around 80% of the pot. He folds and we win this hand. Next hand I'm in the cutoff with pocket 5s. It folds to me and I open the raise to 11. Only big blind calls.
You're gonna check raise me again if I bet? Probably. You sure? Are you sure? Do whatever you want, bro.
He checks to me and I see bet to 11. He check raises to 30 just as he said he would. So I decided to call and see a turn, which now I have a set, but I'm still losing to flushes. He bets 45, I call again. River I make a full house, and when he checks to me, I'm gonna bet here for value. I decide to make it 120 to go.
120.
He quickly calls. I show my hand and he mucks. Most likely I could bet bigger that he would call by how fast he called my bet. Next hand is a bomb pot. Upper board comes 10 ace 10 rainbow and lower board comes ace 3 6 all hearts. Try my cards and I see that I have a king and maybe a 10. Is either a 10 or a 9 in the other card, and I got a 10. Also I got a flush draw in the lower board, so I'm huge. Low jack raises to 20 and I'm definitely gonna raise here. I raise to 60 from the button. Only low jack calls. We go heads up to a turn that comes a queen of clubs in the upper board and a queen of hearts in the lower board. Now I got a very decent hand on both boards, which in bomb pot no limit hold'em that's pretty rare. He checks to me and I bet 125. He quickly shoves all in. I call.
It looks like you're strong, but I gotta call. I call.
Both rivers look safe. I show my hand in respect to him.
got trick tens and a flush.
He shows a 10 and then shows a 5, so we scoop this hand. So we win the whole pot, winning more than $600 so far. My big friend Dave helped me out with a catchy thumbnail, but one of the best hands in this vlog will happen right now. Next hand I see Ace King offsuit from the button. It falls to me and I open raise to 11. Only big blind calls. We go heads up to a great flop with Ace King. Ace 6-3 with 2 hearts. I have no heart in my hand. He checks to me and I see bet to 10 and he calls. Turn is a 10, which looks like a blank to me. He checks again and I'm gonna bet again. I make it $25 now and he quickly check raises to 75. My hand is just too good to fold, but I really feel like he is strong. I call once more and the river comes a blank. A 4 of spades, and now he shoves all in. That's a pretty hard spot. Even though I have a great hand, I'm losing for many combinations of hands, like ace 6, ace 4, ace 3, ace 10, 3s, 6s, 4s, 10s. You could exclude some of those combos like ace 6 and ace 3, otherwise he would check raise, flop.
I'm losing for so many stuff, but at the same time I have the best ace. I have the best ace. The best.
And now I say this, and my friend Dave starts to record.
Oh my god. And that guy is recording now, man. Oh my god.
I gotta call 204 for a pot that has 397. For this call to be profitable, I gotta be right around 33% of the times.
I wish I knew you, bro. I really wish I knew you.
Get to know him.
We'll ask him out for drinks sometime.
Oh my god. Show that board. Show that board. I have ace king.
And I really don't know this guy, so it's hard to say. I'm losing for a lot of stuff and I don't know if he would bluff me so often.
Do you really have ace king?
I really do.
In the end I call.
Call.
Call?
He shows a set of 10s in the turn and wins the hand.
204? Yes. Yes. I'm glad it's for you. You're a nice guy, bro.
And in this hand, I honestly feel I could find that fold. I have a big friend, which is a cash game pro in LA, that we talked a lot about that, about finding folds that many people don't find. And I believe that's a great way to exploit low stakes. Also knowing how to be aggressive and extract maximum value. And in the second day, we end up winning $415 in 10 hours and 40 minutes of game. So after almost 23 hours of game, we end up profiting $720, which is the same as $32 an hour, which equals 16 big blinds an hour. Solid win rate for 1-2. If you enjoyed this video, there are hundreds of others that you'll also enjoy as well. Just click any of those options in the screen. The mission of this channel is helping you become a better poker player, and see you next time.